It's 2:30 a.m. in the Caribbean Sea. A Hellfire missile is locked on target, traveling at supersonic speed. Below, 6 men on a smuggling vessel have no idea their lives are about to end in exactly 14 seconds. This isn't random. This is the result of a high-tech manhunt that started 3 days ago involving spy satellites, surveillance aircraft, and naval destroyers. What they thought was just another run turned into a death sentence. Here's how it happened. 10 o'clock at night, local time. Somewhere in the dark waters of the Caribbean, a U.S. Navy P-8 Poseidon patrol aircraft is cruising at 30,000 feet. This isn't just any plane. It's a $400 million flying intelligence center packed with sensors and tracking systems that can monitor hundreds of miles of ocean simultaneously. The crew inside has one job tonight: track a single target that appeared on their screens 6 hours ago. That target has a designation. Vampire 1, no name, no identification signals, just a bright dot moving with purpose across their monitors. The operators inside the Poseidon are staring at screens showing feeds from the ANAPY-10 radar system. This technology can detect a boat the size of a pickup truck from 200 miles away. Right now, every sensor is pointed at Vampire 1. The plane belongs to the 4th Fleet, the naval command responsible for U.S. operations in Central and South America. Their mission zone is called Vector 16, a maritime corridor known for one thing: drug trafficking. Tons of cocaine move through these waters every month, smuggled by cartels and criminal organizations that operate like military units. Fast boats, armed crews, radio silence. They know how to stay invisible, or at least they think they do. At 10:47 p.m., the radar operator notices something. The signal that is Vampire 1 isn't broadcasting an AIS transponder. Every legitimate vessel at sea is required to transmit an automatic identification system signal. It tells other ships who you are, where you're going, and what you're carrying. Vampire 1 is silent. That's the first red flag. Second red flag: speed. The vessel is moving at 35 knots. That's fast. Too fast for a fishing boat or a cargo ship. The radar shows the target zigzagging, changing course every few minutes in irregular patterns. That's evasion behavior. The crew of the Poseidon knows exactly what they're looking at. This is a smuggler. Down on the water, the vessel in question is a high-speed boat called Tiburon, Spanish for shark. It has 3 massive outboard engines bolted to the stern, each one capable of pushing the boat to speeds that would make most patrol craft look slow. On the deck, covered with tarps and tied down with heavy ropes, are tons of drugs and weapons. 6 men are on board. All of them are armed. All of them are tense. The captain of the Tiburon is a man named Ricardo. He's been running this route for 4 years. He knows the risks. He knows the U.S. Navy has increased patrols in the area. He's heard stories about boats that disappeared, crews that never came home. But he also knows that if he completes this run, his organization will pay him enough money to disappear for a year. That's the gamble. High risk, high reward. Ricardo orders his crew to stay alert. One man is posted on the deck with night vision goggles, constantly scanning the horizon. Another is below, monitoring a handheld radio tuned to Coast Guard frequencies. They're paranoid. They have reason to be. Up in the Poseidon, the crew switches to thermal imaging. The ANAPY-10 radar is good, but thermal cameras are better for confirmation. The sensor operator adjusts his screen. 6 heat signatures appear, 6 bodies moving on the deck of Vampire 1. He records everything: position, heading, speed, behavior. Every piece of data is logged and transmitted in real time to a secure network. At 11:30 p.m., Ricardo makes a decision. He orders a listening stop. The engines drop to idle. The boat drifts silently on the water. The crew goes quiet. They're listening for the sound of patrol boats or helicopters. For 5 minutes, they hear nothing but waves and wind. They think they're safe. They're wrong. High above, 15,000 feet up, the Poseidon sensors are locked on. The thermal cameras are so precise they can detect body heat through cloud cover. The crew of the Tiburon is staring at the horizon, listening for threats from the 20th century. They have no idea a 21st century predator is watching them from miles above, recording every move they make. After 5 minutes, Ricardo gives the order. Full throttle. The engines roar back to life. The Tiburon accelerates, cutting through the water at maximum speed. The crew thinks they've cleared the danger zone. They're heading toward a rendezvous point where they'll offload the cargo to another vessel. From there, the drugs will move inland, distributed through a network that spans multiple countries, but the Poseidon isn't working alone. At 12:15 a.m., The crew initiates the handover process. All the tracking data they've collected, everything about Vampire 1, is transmitted through a tactical data network called Link 16. The recipient is a guided missile destroyer, the USS Farragut, designation DDG-99. It's a warship equipped with the Aegis combat system, one of the most advanced battle management platforms ever built. Inside the Farragut's Combat Information Center, the CIC, the icon for Vampire 1, appears on multiple screens. It's flagged as a potential hostile. The Tactical Action Officer, the TAO, takes command. The Poseidon's job is done. Now it's the Navy's turn. The TAO reviews the data. He has position, speed, and heading, but he needs more. He needs visual identification. He needs to know if the target is armed. That's a requirement under the rules of engagement. You can't just fire on a vessel because it's acting suspicious. You need proof. You need certainty. The order is given. Deploy the helicopter. At 1:20 a.m. on the flight deck of the Farragut, an MH-60R Seahawk helicopter powers up. Its call sign is Viper 11. This machine is worth $40 million. It's designed for anti-submarine warfare and anti-surface strikes. It's equipped with thermal cameras, radar, torpedoes, and missiles. Right now, it's being tasked with a surveillance and strike mission. The rotors spin faster. The sound builds into a roar. The Seahawk lifts off the deck, but it doesn't climb high. Instead, it drops to just 100 feet above the water and accelerates to 150 knots. This is a tactical profile. By flying low, the helicopter uses the curvature of the Earth to hide its radar signature. The Tiburon's crew won't see it coming. On the Tiburon, something changes. One of the crew members stops moving. He's staring at the horizon. He can't see anything, but he feels something. A low-frequency vibration in the air. It's faint, almost imperceptible, but it's there. He scans the area with his night vision goggles. Nothing, just darkness and water. But the feeling doesn't go away. Ricardo senses it too. Years of running drugs have given him instincts. He orders a course change. The helmsman turns the wheel 10 degrees to starboard. It's a test. If someone is following them, they'll adjust their position. If not, nothing happens. In the Seahawk, the pilot sees the course change on his display. He adjusts the flight path effortlessly. The helicopter maintains its distance and optimal observation angle. The maneuver is noted. It changes nothing. At 1:45 a.m., the sensor operator in the Seahawk activates the forward-looking infrared system. His screen switches to thermal imaging. He points the camera at the coordinates provided by the Farragut. A bright white dot appears against the cold gray ocean. He's locked on. He zooms in. 6 heat signatures, all moving. He increases magnification. Now he can see details, the shape of the boat, the position of the crew. He scans the deck slowly, methodically. Then he stops. Near the stern, 2 crew members are holding something. He zooms in further. The unmistakable outline of AK-47 rifles comes into view. The weapons are slung over their shoulders, barrels pointing down, but they're there. Confirmation. The sensor operator keys his microphone. His voice is calm, professional. He transmits back to the Farragut. Armed target confirmed. In the CIC of the Farragut, this is the final piece of the puzzle. The target isn't just smuggling drugs. It's an armed hostile vessel. That changes everything. Under the rules of engagement, an armed smuggling vessel in international waters can be engaged if it poses a threat or refuses to comply with lawful orders. The TAO doesn't hesitate. He requests permission to engage from higher command. The approval comes back in seconds. Viper 11 is cleared hot. The Seahawk is authorized to fire. Up until this moment, the crew of the Tiburon has been operating under a dangerous delusion. They think they're running from something they might be able to escape. They think if they move fast enough, stay quiet enough, they can slip through. They don't understand the reality. The hunt is already over. It ended the moment the Poseidon locked onto them 6 hours ago. Everything since then has been a countdown. At 2:05 a.m., the Seahawk pilot breaks from his low-altitude surveillance pattern. He begins a direct approach. The co-pilot flips switches in sequence. The weapon system powers up. A light illuminates in the cockpit. Master armed, the helicopter is now a loaded weapon. For the first time, the crew of the Tiburon hears it. The deep thump of rotor blades cutting through the air. One of the men on deck spots it. A dark shape, low against the sky, closing in fast. He shouts. Panic erupts. Ricardo screams his final order. Run! The helmsman slams the throttle forward. All 3 engines roar to life at maximum power. The Tiburon tears across the water at 55 knots, spray exploding from the bow. They're heading northeast toward shallow coastal waters where a helicopter can't follow easily. It's a desperate move. It's also pointless. In the cockpit of the Seahawk, the crew is calm. They've done this before. The sensor operator locks the targeting system onto the Tiburon's engine compartment. The co-pilot activates the laser designator. An invisible beam shoots out, hitting the exact center of the target. A continuous tone sounds in their headsets. Lock confirmed. The weapon selected is an AGM-114 Hellfire missile. It's a fire-and-forget munition designed to destroy armored vehicles. Against a fiberglass speedboat, it's overkill. But that's the point. There will be no second chance. No survivors. No evidence left behind. Down on the Tiburon, one of the crew members breaks. The pressure, the fear, the inevitability of what's coming, it all snaps something inside him. He raises his AK-47. He aims at the helicopter. He pulls the trigger. The burst of gunfire is wild, uncontrolled. The bullets go nowhere near the Seahawk. The range is too great. The angle is wrong. It's a meaningless gesture, but it's also a fatal mistake. The moment he fires, the rules change. This is no longer just an interdiction. It's a combat engagement. The smugglers have opened fire on a U.S. military aircraft. There's no gray area anymore. The pilot's voice cuts through the cockpit. Fire. The operator's thumb presses the red button. A jolt shakes the helicopter. The Hellfire missile drops from the rail, ignites, and streaks forward. It accelerates instantly, reaching supersonic speed in seconds. The laser guidance system keeps it locked on target. The missile doesn't miss. It can't miss. For the crew of the Tiburon, time collapses. They see a flash from the helicopter. A streak of fire in the night sky. It's coming straight at them. There's no time to turn. No time to jump. No time to think. 2 seconds. That's all they have left. Ricardo sees it. He knows what it is. He's heard stories about these weapons. He just never thought he'd be on the receiving end. His last thought is a simple one. He miscalculated. The Hellfire missile impacts the engine compartment at over 1,000 miles per hour. The warhead detonates on contact. The explosion is instantaneous. Fire, pressure, and shrapnel tear through the boat in a fraction of a second. The fuel tanks ignite. The secondary explosion is massive. The Tiburon doesn't sink, it vaporizes. Inside the Seahawk, the sensor operator's screen turns white from the intensity of the blast. When the thermal image returns, there's nothing left but burning debris scattered across a wide area of water. 6 heat signatures gone, the boat gone, the drugs gone. The pilot circles the wreckage slowly. Standard procedure. The sensor operator scans for survivors. There are none. There's nothing to rescue, nothing to recover. Just fire on the water. He activates his microphone. His voice is steady, emotionless, professional. He transmits the final report back to the Farragut. Target destroyed. In the CIC of the USS Farragut, the icon representing Vampire 1 is erased from the screen. The mission is complete. The crew logs the action, files the reports, and returns to patrol status. For them, this was a successful operation. Clean, efficient, by the book. But this strike isn't an isolated event. It's part of something bigger. The Tiburon was the 10th target neutralized in an intensified anti-drug campaign across the Caribbean. The U.S. Navy has ramped up operations in this region, continuing enhanced border security policies that prioritize interdiction and destruction of smuggling networks. Every boat intercepted sends a message. Every crew that disappears creates a vacuum. The cartels and smuggling organizations are being forced to adapt. They're taking bigger risks, using more dangerous routes, pushing their people into situations where mistakes are fatal. The ocean, once a route to fortune, has become a battlefield where the slightest error can cost everything. For the United States, this is more than drug enforcement. It's a demonstration of technological superiority. It's a statement. No matter how dark the night, no matter how vast the ocean, you cannot hide. The surveillance systems see everything. The tracking networks follow everyone. And when the decision is made to strike, the result is absolute. The families of the 6 men on the Tiburon will never know what happened. There's no wreckage to recover, no bodies to bury, just silence. The criminal organizations they worked for will eventually realize the shipment never arrived. They'll assume it was intercepted or lost. They'll write it off as a cost of doing business. Another crew will be recruited. Another boat will be launched. The cycle continues, but for the U.S. Navy, each successful hunt is a strategic victory. It's not just about stopping one shipment. It's about weakening the entire network. Every destroyed vessel is a financial loss for the cartels. Every dead crew is a recruitment problem. Every failure makes the next run more expensive, more dangerous, and less profitable. The technology used in this operation represents decades of military development. The P-8 Poseidon is a modified Boeing 737 turned into a flying command center with radar systems that can track surface vessels, submarines, and aircraft simultaneously. The MH-60R Seahawk is a multi-role helicopter designed for naval warfare, equipped with weapon systems that can engage targets on land, sea, or underwater. The Aegis combat system on the USS Farragut can manage hundreds of targets at once, coordinating between ships, aircraft, and satellites in real time. This isn't law enforcement. This is integrated warfare. Intelligence gathered from satellites is relayed to aircraft. Aircraft hand off targets to warships. Warships deploy helicopters. Helicopters fire missiles. The entire chain operates with precision and speed that makes evasion impossible. By the time a smuggler realizes they've been detected, the decision to strike has already been made. The reconstruction of this pursuit is based on tactical analyses and reports from military sources, including USNI News and Military Times. The technology, procedures, and capabilities described are real. The P-8 Poseidon operates in the Caribbean. The USS Farragut conducts interdiction missions. The Hellfire missile is a standard weapon for the MH-60R Seahawk. What started as a routine surveillance flight ended with 6 men erased from existence. For the crew of the Poseidon, the Farragut, and Viper 11, it was a successful mission. For Ricardo and his crew, it was the culmination of years of risk-taking that finally caught up with them. They gambled that they could outrun, outsmart, or outlast the surveillance systems tracking them. They lost. The message from this operation is clear. The technology gap between smugglers and military forces isn't just wide. It's insurmountable. Night vision goggles and AK-47 rifles are no defense against thermal imaging, laser-guided missiles, and networked combat systems. The era of outrunning patrol boats is over. The new reality is that the hunt begins before you even know you're being watched. And once it starts, there's no escape. This is the future of maritime interdiction. Silent, invisible, lethal. The ocean may be vast, but the surveillance grid is vaster. The darkness may be deep, but the sensors see through it. And when the decision is made to engage, the result is not negotiable. Subscribe for more deep dives into military operations and defense technology.